You guys ever watch Marduk Scramble?
俺はオスで、こいつの兄弟で、恋人で、ホモセクシャルのパートナーだ。
Marduk Scramble is a movie trilogy from 2010, 11, and 12 respectively. Rated hard R for all the ravaging and raving and, other R word. Not something for the faint of heart, but if you're the kind of guy who gets goosebumps just seeing a LiveLeak logo plastered on some 480p Chinese stock footage, then maybe give this one a watch, you sicko. It's pretty brutal and bloody, with high quality animation provided by that one studio famous for the, When You Walk In anime. But it wasn't always going to be them. Gohans only got their go-hands on the series after Gonzo canceled an OVA adaptation of the Marduk novels back in 2005. It was going to be directed by the guy behind the shifting pattern look of Gonkutsu, with character designs provided by the king of cute sad girls. The studio had some financial issues, and Marduk was a money sink for something unmarketable at the time. The setting was too experimental, and the tone was too bleak. Not to mention the source material required the inclusion of some very unsavory characters, one of which was described by a former Gonzo employee as, and I quote here, a midget covered in breast. It was probably for the best that Gonzo fumbled the bag, because the films we ended up getting are pretty good. Alright, story time. Rune Ballad is a former Lady of the Night turned into a cyborg after meeting a psychopath named Shell. He spends his free time finding abused girls from broken homes to turn into blue diamonds so they stay with him forever. What won't stay with him, however, are his memories, since he wipes his mind each time he does the deed. And poor Ballad just happens to be the latest victim of his Irish goodbye. A freelance mad scientist saves what's left of her life under the Marduk Scramble 09 regulations. Basically, she gets a second chance at life and the opportunity to take her assailant to court, but she'll have to be a guinea pig for some advanced experimental technologies. She can now hack into most electronics, has enhanced reflexes, and even gets a cute little AI mouse partner that can transform into just about anything. Which is crucial if she's going to see her case all the way through, because the guy who wronged her hired his own freelance 09 case officer to kill this chick. It's a neat setup in a cool setting that might not be the most original in presentation, but it does bring some different things to the table. At first, it's a crime show with some cyberpunk smackdowns thrown in, but it doesn't just keep things to car chases and warehouse shootouts. You don't see too many anime covering the courtroom stuff involved with criminal proceedings, but in Marduk, it's put center stage in the first film. You even see Ballad's lawyer dressing her up in a certain way, trying to make her look attractive enough to garner sympathy with the jury, but not too attractive to make them think she seduced the guy. She needs to look like an innocent fair trad wife who frolicked through a wheat field and ended up in the wrong place at the wrong time. Legal stuff not your thing? Well, how about gambling? Once you get to the second film, things go from Law and Order to Casino Royale. Movie 2 slows things down a bit with less fights and more dialogue dumps, but since each film is only about an hour long, by the time you realize not much is happening, it's already over and you're on to the next thing. If nothing else, the movies are fun to look at. Marduk has this saturated, slight green and black hue look that works so well for this type of story. The city is sleek and the people are slimy, and the OST is, serviceable. I mean, honestly, I don't remember any tracks after finishing it, but I do remember it never took me out of the experience. But now, what kind of experience are we talking here? Well, it's not Ghost in the Shell, and it's not Psycho-Pass, but what it is something fun and wild, just like all its characters. Just get a load of all these wacky names. Shell Septimos, Mincemeat the Wink, Professor Faceman? Oh, this guy's official name is Well Done the Pussy Hand. That's just like, why is he called that?
俺はめったにコレクションを移植しない。
Oh.
狭さと敏感さが自慢のプッシーキャットさ。
Oh no. There's also Dimsdale, Boyle, Dr. Easter, Ufkoku. Did you pick up on the pattern? It's all egg-related stuff. There's actually quite a lot of egg-related stuff in these films, and they all act as a not-so-subtle reminder of the main theme of Marduk. New life, being born again. That's what these films are all about. I mean, even the end credits song for the first movie is the certified Christian classic, Amazing Grace. Does that make Marduk a true Christian anime? I can't decide if I want to go with the gay dolphin clip again or bring up Well Done the Pussy Hand. I guess it is Pride Month, so let's do the gay dolphin.
ホモセクシャルのパートナーだ。
It should be clear by now, but Marduk Scramble barely has a filter. At any given point, you'll be shown something wild whether you want to or not. I mean, half the cast is downright crazy, and the heavy topics tackled are typically accompanied by gratuitous nudity or unhinged exclamations. And none of that really bothered me too much because, nice cock! I went into this thing expecting edgy schlock. I just wanted something violent and visceral with some bargain bin shock value. I know there's something wrong with me. And the thing is, those boxes do get checked, but then something happened that I didn't expect. I felt invested in Ballott's story and her relationship with her AI partner. Both of them view themselves as messed up or incomplete. They aren't so sure what to make of each other, so they keep testing the waters to feel each other out. They're never at each other's throats, but their differing views on life sometimes causes them undue harm. Like when Ballot goes on a power trip after seeing how powerful she's become and gets a little too into shooting people. She goes from abused to abuser and tortures one of her assailants to the point of overloading Ufkuku with her negative emotions, forcing him to once again experience the same abuse of his former partner. Maybe it was the voice acting or the visuals on screen or a combination of the both, but it was a very hard-hitting moment and not one that's going to leave my mind for a minute. Marduk is a film trilogy that rewards you for sticking with it. At the start, there are so many different things happening in quick succession that it's difficult to figure out the rules of this world or how any of the tech works. The characters initially appear to be one note at best, so you don't feel a need to give them any thought. But it's only after the films slow down that things really pick up in terms of emotional payoff. I don't mean to say that Marduk is some masterclass in writing, but the relationship between Ballot and Ufkoku is what made me continue with each film. Well, that and the fact that the first one ends with a big screw you Halo 2 cliffhanger ending in the middle of a fight. Luckily for all of us, we don't have to wait a year to see the fight finished, but I can't imagine the people who saw this when it released were happy with that outcome. All three films are worth checking out, but don't expect to find them on any mainstream streaming service. Also, the first movie is probably the best out of the bunch, so if you aren't feeling things by the end of that one, then maybe skip the sequels. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to get back to work on the retrospective for an anime series made by a studio I mentioned in this video, so stay tuned for that. And until next time, Ave Maria, Deus Vult, and a big thank you to all the cultured.